Hey, love bugs, it's Rob back at you one more again. I hope everybody is doing blessed. I'm doing blessed and highly favored, and definitely hope the same for you. And if this is your first time stopping by my channel, much love to you and welcome into my returning subs, to my grown, extended, beautiful family. As always, thank you so much for the love and support. It's truly appreciated. So, with that being said, much love to all. Namaste, love and blessings, love and light. And many blessings are definitely coming your way. And if you have been watching my videos for a while and have not already, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell at the bottom so you know when I'm about to upload my next video. Also, if you're comfortable enough, drop me a line or two. I'd love the chance to get to know you as much as you're getting to know me, even if it was about the positive feedback to the content of my video, or you're telling me about your empathic gift. And if you feel like the videos give good vibes, you would love to share with a loved one, family, or a friend, or even a fellow empath that may be going through trying times at the moment, just needing confirmation, validation towards life path or even soul purposes, please go ahead and share. And while you're at it, give a girl a thumbs up, like, and also share on the social media favorites wherever you see fit. As always, thank you so much for the love and support. It's always appreciated. And I hope you're able to resonate with the content of my video. And the video I'm doing today is called Twin Flame 101, Heyokas, the purpose produce the pressure that unveiled a diamond and your light can't be dimmed. It is so true. A lot of times, there is like everybody's using that saying called pressure. You're becoming that pressure. And it's just like you have to be your own pressure. If you want things in life, it's not going to come easy for you, especially if it has, if it carries weights of many blessings on you. There's a lot of things that we have to go through that truth unveils within yourself. A lot of things you didn't know about yourself until you have gone through hardships, burdens, setbacks, failures, disappointment, different triggers, trauma, whatever you're dealing with. It's not easy. And it's just like, you look at different things in your life and what you're trying to create in your life. And it's just like the more you tend to allow yourself to heal on, allow yourself to go into solitary confinement. Oh, Jesus. Basically, that's what it is. It's just like you go into solitary confinement without, being in the little cells and the bars. Usually we have those, it's called prison of pain, our prison of hardship. And a lot of times we place ourselves in that and not realizing you're in that, but the door is always halfway open or is always unlocked. But it takes us the courage to push through that. A lot of times we feel like whatever we're going through, it's going to take forever for us to get through that, or we're never going to get over that hump, being able to have peace in our lives. We even get disturbed by seeing other people just so happy. I'm like, it's just like, oh my God, you're so happy. Can you please get away from me? And you're already going through your own hardship and you really want to be there. There's times where, like in your life, there's some people that misery loves company. They feed off of power by hurting others, seeing suffer, that's how they feed on to theirs. And that's just like a battery that you need to change out, that you keep pressing. Matter of fact, because y'all done got on me about the times when y'all be hearing my fire alarm going off like beep. And you're like, girl, if you don't go change that battery and you just keep pushing that thing, so be like, Laura, I don't feel like going to the store right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and reset that and just hopefully. And that's what it is, and there's times where it's time to change that battery out. You have to be able to recharge yourself. And it's just like right now with everything that's going on, there's a lot of people that are taking that step back. There's times I do it a lot, and it's just like, I don't be wanting to do it because there's a lot of times I just want to keep myself busy. And I realize it when I'm trying to allow myself to stay busy is because I'm trying to ignore the things that I really need to confront, because the things aren't easy. And that's when when you're being honest with yourself. I'm like, I'm not trying to feel that, because when I feel like that, it's going to make me mad. And if it makes me mad, I start thinking things. Get me thinking things. It got me plotting. If I start plotting, I'm going to catch a charge, and it's just stuff like that. But now it's at that point, you don't really have to take it that far. It just depends, what you're going through. There's so many different things that's taking place, and what you're going through. What things that you're really trying to allow yourself to really, be in the clear of. And it's just like a lot of times we didn't notice, because it's just like I noticed my heart chakra has been opening a lot. And I find myself just going through a mist of crying. And it's not even have to be depressed, but it's just feeling that love that I didn't realize I closed off for myself, just for love for myself. I never really knew I was doing that. And I used to get very aggravated. Like if I would be that person that reading numbers, and it was like, you need to believe in yourself. You need to step out your fear factor and come up that comfort zone. I said, where I'm at, I'm never been comfortable being there, but it's just a lot of times we play safe, and I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I didn't want to step out because I was afraid, somebody might do this, somebody might do that. And it's just at that time, you have to be able to understand, regardless of what somebody else do, this is your purpose, and you're going through those different things. If it's going to happen, it's mainly because they had to teach you something anyway. God is not going to allow, God, universe, your tribe, our tribe, your ancestors, your guides, and all that. They protect us all the time. They send us constant, insight, be very informative about different things you need to go through in your life. There's times that you may feel like you're alone. You're not really truly alone. You're getting that pressure for you to gain that power within yourself. It's redirecting you to your life. And there's a lot of times we have issues. We go to external beings, external things, to be able to get that confirmation when it's already on the inside, and they're just wanting, you make a decision. And sometimes when you have not felt confident in yourself, you already put a what if it fails? What if this? What if it's that? And then next, when it doesn't come through, you're like, well, see, I told you. But we didn't realize that everything that we were thinking at that time, it created that reality for us. And it's just at that time, it's like you've been set on this purpose. And a lot of people that's been set on that purpose came from a painful experience. And, it was like with me, I was like, how am I going to do this? Because when I first started, I didn't know all these different gifts that I had. I knew there were certain things that was very different to me that I would speak on. Some people like, oh, she's crazy and stuff like that. And, I was always told as growing up, when I thought that way, or I spoke that way, it was a mental illness, but it was actually a gift. Not everybody is equipped with that. Actually, I feel like there's a lot of people that are, and they choose just not to allow themselves to connect with that. It's all about free will. And it's just like, there's sometimes they'll be guided towards it and just choose not to. And it's like, hey, that's your life. I'm about to go live mine and do whatever this purpose is I'm supposed to be doing. And it's not easy. So it was just like, when I did this and I found out, because I really didn't have, people that I can trust to talk to. It's just like everything I went through. It was just like when you go through a spiritual awakening, it feels like your life is falling apart, which it is. It's awakening a part of a spirit you never knew it was there. You don't have the same friends that you used to have. It seemed like everybody turned their back on you, which actually it wasn't them turning your back on you. It's just universe and God put you in a different direction, that they already played their part in your life. So it's time to go. Bye-bye. And so you're creating this. There's a lot of different things that's taken on into your life where you have to make very hard choices that, you may not be able to do. You have to be able to cut ties with a lot of people that you really never seen yourself without. And, there a lot of times that has to do with spouses, baby moms, baby dads, family, siblings, all those different things. And it's really hard to do that, because a lot of time when you're destined that, it's like, even if the same bloodline flows through you, that doesn't mean that everybody has that same vision as was set for you. And they put you on this purpose, and it created challenges. It created different vocal points. Like, are you going to stay focused on this? Or are you going to be focused on whatever they're doing over here? That's just, hey, come over here, do this and this and this and that. And they put that on that distraction on purpose. And it's just like, what are you going to focus on? You're going to focus on different things and different people that doesn't want to see you grow. They want you to be able to stay the same. There are some people that are just comfortable with being. You weren't sitting here for that. Even if you got comfortable with that, your soul is not going to let you do that. You're going to start getting irritable, aggravated, and just wonder why it's like that. And then when you get onto that vibe, going towards that purpose, and you start feeling very uncomfortable, because that right there is telling you, I've put different posts out there like that. Feeling down is a good thing, because there are certain parts of you that you had to know something needs to be released. Something needs my acknowledgement. Something needs me to have that understanding within myself so I can understand what's going on with me. Being able to fix myself, and being able to look at whatever lesson that was taught, and being able to understand, what is this thing that wants me to find out about myself? What is this? What is this perception of me, or the perception of what I constantly allow myself to envision? What is it trying to tell me? And there's different things that goes on in the world. It's just crazy how we're empaths. We want to be able to save the world, but we are not people. There are some of us are extroverts, or some of us are introverts. And it's just like, I noticed that I started caring a lot of more about my peace when I was in solitude. And I mean that recently, I get like that at times, but I've been more peaceful with that, you know. And it was just, feeling like I always had to have somebody to talk to, because it was just like nobody understands me. And, when people come into your life and, they set that point, and then you get very heartbroken when things just all of a sudden people ghost you, or, they end up flipping. And it's just like that was the intention for that situation, because the life lessons has already been learned from those two individuals, or 3-4 parties or whatever. You have learned what you need to learn, because there's a lot of times that you'll connect with different people that have, it's like your mirror image or whatever tragedy you're going through. It's just like twin flames. People always think twin flame is only one. It doesn't matter. It could be the divine feminine, divine masculine. But if you're going through a twin flame stage into your life, you're going to meet different twin flames towards every stage of yourself, where you had to go through the healing, when you had to go through codependency, you may have to go through addiction. It could have been sex, it could have been self-harm, it could have been pills, drugs, whatever, depression. You're going through that, where you're going to find somebody who's like, dang, this is just like, my whole life. And that is like your soul, your twin. It's kind of like a twin soul, because people are like, there's only one twin flame. You automatically think when it's twin flame, it has to be, something very romantic. It can be, but it also can be a best friend. It can be a family member. It can, it can be different things. It doesn't automatically have to be, romantic, but it's just something about that person or people that carry that vibe that's very nurturing to you. Even if it doesn't feel nurturing, it's something that you had to connect with them with to learn that part of that stage of your life. And then when that is learned, is disconnected, so you go to the next one. And you're going through all these different things where you're applying pressure into your life. You may have setbacks, you may feel lazy or not want to do things, it has to be done. And you get to that point where you keep going through it, and they just keep constantly giving you setbacks. And you're like, what, I'm tired of doing this, and it's just like, but you want something into your life. And it's just like you get this envision about what you want in life, what you want to be. You want to be your own boss. You want to be able to live your own life, where you're having a lifestyle where you can still be able to live comfortable, but be able to do whatever you're doing. And, you don't have to work up under somebody else. Because a lot of times we get these jobs, and all of a sudden you start getting these vibes where it's telling you, you need to quit this job, bump, whereas it's just like where hey, I got good benefits here, or hey, I got, I get good money pay here. I was like, hey, I only got to do 9 to 5 or Monday through Friday, and I have my weekends and holidays off. But then it's just like when you're there, you're miserable. Even when you come home, it's something about that job that keeps you even thinking about the job when you're even at home. And the only times you get, you feel at peace is either if you're on bereavement, and that's not really good for being on bereavement. You having peace until I'm like, man, look, I gotta go back to this daggone job. I ain't trying to feel it, all these different things. Or you're off, or it's a holiday, or you got a furlough, especially with the pandemic and stuff like that. Maybe you think like, hey, why when I was growing up, why did they have the pandemic then? It's different stuff like that. And not into wishing anybody sick or anything like that, but just having that off time, because I felt really bad for a lot of people that had these young kids. And I'm like, I know it drove them crazy, because it was like, that's where a lot of times, especially if you're a homemaker and you stay home, you're a housewife or a house husband, whatever. And that's when your peace happens, when those kids went to school. The next thing you know, they were staying home for months. And I know there are a lot of people shoot. They had to go. But it's just still, you're seeing that product within your purpose that's creating a lot of new things for you, a lot of new visions. You speak different, you act different, you carry yourself different, you're doing more healthier things in your life. Even if you catch yourself doing things in your old ways, but you notice there's something that's just not really agreeing with you, especially I could be talking to a friend of mine or whatever, and I might see a current event that happened, or talking about, the gossip about a celebrity world or something like that. And I could talk about that now, and I'm just like, oh, I feel uncomfortable, because it's kind of like gossip, unless it's something that, I can see something, and I can, really connect with that part of whatever that person's going through. And I've seen a few, and I could be talking to somebody about it, and I said, I know what that feels like. It's just like, thank God mine's just is not out there like theirs, and I know it has to be hard, but maybe they need to love themselves, or maybe they need to reevaluate or something like that. And you're in a therapeutic conversation where you're talking about world events on creating change, even through sad parts of your life. Maybe you're in a codependent relationship, or you're in a narcissistic relationship where you don't find your own power, and you keep allowing yourself to keep going through those repetitive cycles. And this is where you're putting your life in jeopardy, your health in jeopardy, your mental health, your well-being. Even, especially if it's like multiple partners and stuff like that, you're putting your health at risk, because, there's things that you can be prone to catch and all those different things. And it's just like, being able to go through a life like that, where I allowed myself to be in a very toxic relationship. And I've been in a lot of them, but they're not all of them that were very, very bad, but it was just, a handful that was, kind of there. But then I allow myself to really look back, and it's like I changed a lot, even though I may not be exactly where I'm at, I know my worth. I love that I'm not allowing myself to settle. I got standards, and I'm hiring those things. And if I start looking at things different, like, how did I allow myself to attract to that? And I would say it negatively, but now when I'm at that point, and it showed me where I really didn't know my worth. I was willing to allow myself to accept a lot of things that I shouldn't have been able to digest. Like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you allowing yourself to stoop to this level just to keep people around in your life? And it always didn't have to be in relationships. It can be friendships, people I would hang with at my job. And it's just like, now, I may see somebody calling me. I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, no, that vibe is still the same way. I can even feel it when you're calling my phone. I'm like, I'm not about to answer that. In different times where I know if I'm on my self-care, there may be emails, there may be, different comments. Like, I tell you, I used to be able to give that announcement out. And I said, you had to be able to stop that, because it's just wrong vibes. It's paying attention to you, and they don't, it's good to be able to keep it to yourself. It's like, I'm out on a job, this is something I created within myself, and I love it. And I'm sharing it with people, but I don't have to always announce things, get straight to the introduction. If I need to take a few days off, then, usually if you've been with me for a while, it's like, oh, she taking care of her self-care, because there's a lot of time I'm supposed to be doing self-care and still be sending out posts, still be answering, comments, and people that really, appreciate me and stuff like that. But like, Roz, you just said you were going on self-care. I am. It's like, how are you doing that? You still talking to us? Go take care of yourself. Go be there. Or I'll be different. People will tell me they can see I've been tired, because it was just like over 2 years ago, I was going and doing like 10, 7 to 12 videos a day. And I would go do that like 2 and 3 weeks straight and not realize it. I'm like, I'm kind of dragging. Let me see, I'm going, my brain is on a glitch. Let me go see when's the last time I went off. And I'm like, dang, it's daggone near been, like 3 weeks. And I've been running like that and doing videos like 10 and 12, between 7 and 12 a day. Girl, you lucky. You didn't go on a fritz. You didn't just collapse, like about a week and a half before that. But then it was just like, that was what the universe wanted me to do, especially like on Heyokas. It's like, that you don't want me to put anything else about Wiccans or, twin flames or INFJs or, narcissism. You don't know. We want you to stay on Heyoka. And I just really didn't understand why. And there are so many people that are starting to awaken that are trying to find their place in their tribe, or just finding out, I know I'm an empath, but there's something very different to me that sticks out from other empaths. And I'm really trying to understand that. Or there's a lot of people that come to me and they watch my videos like you, the only one, has been very continuing and, just very consistent about being Heyokas. It's like, I've been doing Heyoka videos for almost like 2.5 years straight. So it's just like so many different videos. I'm like, hey, go take your pick, because there's a lot of them there. And, I truly love what I do. And I feel so passionate about it. There's times I've had my good times, there's bad times, especially with my subject of why I started. But it's just like, at that point, it was all about growing. It's all about knowing, being able to know you can find different things to, speak on. You're guiding towards different things of the ultimate change. You're adding yourself to being the diamond in the rough, and the next thing you know, You're shaving away all the dirt, the crud, whatever asphalt, you over there, you're in that mind of beautiful diamonds. Sometimes we'll be rough around the edges, and you're still learning yourself, you're still growing, you're healing, you come into honest conclusions about what kept me dragging for so long, what I can no longer entertain within myself, being fair to myself, being very stern. Sometimes it's hard for us to say no, you feel guilty about it, or keeping your boundaries. If I tell people, like, hey, I'm doing the self-care for a minute, if I don't answer you, I'll get back to you, and I understand it could be very, much of an emergency. And if it's something I know that, I'm like, hey, just give me a day. I know you may be going through something very serious, but it's just like, I may add worse into your life. I'm going through my own changes right now, and I'm not going to be equipped and that, into that emotion to really help you right now. And I don't want nobody to take it personal. Or there's different times where I just feel like you have overstepped your boundaries. And a lot of times I'll give you, hey, I have to part ways with you now. Or sometimes I just don't, you just come back and try to text me or call me, and then you blocked, and it's just, it's like that at times. I had to be very assertive, and I used to didn't like doing stuff like that. When I started missing people, I would go back and, bring them back in my life when there was so many different things to say, we took them out of your life. Why are you bringing them back? It's going to keep getting worse, because it's good to love people. A lot of times you just have to love them from a distance. You may miss the memory, but you don't miss the person. A lot of things start revealing. It's like, well, why all of a sudden it just changed like that? Actually, it's been there, but it just wasn't yet for you to be able to know, because you're unveiling a lot of things into your life that you had to go through those stages of really seeing things for what they truly are. Because I'm like, how is this illusions when I know I can touch it, taste it, feel it, whatever? But it's just about our minds on how we create that reality that can be illusion. If this is something that you're fearing, this is psychosis, some kind of thing that you placed into your mind is fear-based. Or if it's something that you're uncertain about, doubts, that's creating, that reality of making whatever you're thinking about true. But when you're allowing yourself to see, okay, you may be in a very, very not good environment. I'm trying to find, trying to make sure there ain't no heavy narrative on how you're doing that. But then if you can be in a very toxic environment, it could be, a false twin flame. It could be a karmic cycle or a karmic attachment. And you're allowing yourself, when you say, yes, this is very toxic, but this is some kind of learning mechanism that is showing me to free myself, cut those ties with that person, that part of me that keeps attracting that keeps making me go back, because there's a lot of times I would do little stupid things in my life, and it was just like, just to bring something back, and it's just like, girl, you deserve so much better. Bring that love into yourself. You're bringing love into something that's not even reciprocating that love back to you. Anything that sacrifices your peace, your well-being, your mental health, your self-worth, your love for yourself, that is a price too high. You can be a billionaire, a zillionaire, and that is a price too high that you should never sacrifice for anybody, because it's like, love is not supposed to hurt. But there's going to be love into your life that is really going to be genuine, that's going to be worth that fight. There are going to be different times that y'all get into arguments, and it doesn't have to be with a husband or wife, kingdom husband, kingdom wife, or baby mom, baby dad, but it's just you're brewing up a relationship that was already there. It just didn't come into that complete connection until you went through the healing, until you allow yourself to accept you for who you are. Self-love, alliance, self-acceptance, all those different things. And there was something that was waiting for you, but you could not get into that pure connection, because you start noticing different things that's coming into your life that gave you your purpose, gave you your healing, gave you a vision of what you were going to do when it pertained to your gift, of purpose, what you're passionate about. You can create a business like situation that's not going to just help you, but it's going to help many other people that fall in the line of what you had to go through and what you're overcoming. And those are beautiful things. It takes a moment to get there. And I hate that word, patience. That's such a cuss word for me. But this is where it starts creating, because it's not going to happen overnight, and a lot of times we want to speed up that process. Like, can this just like hurry up and happen for me, because I'm so tired, and all those different things. And you're universe and God is going to put you through constant tests, and you can get aggravated. And I'm just like, I didn't even like school, and I didn't like tests. Sometimes I call out sick just so I didn't have to do it. Now you giving me tests, and these tests are very nurturing for you. A lot of times, even though we don't like it, when it gets to that point, you're going to appreciate it. I appreciate the fact is he applied pressure to me about who I chose to deal with, because this could have been very unhealthy for me. This person probably just didn't have no good good intentions for me, and they saw my light before I did. A lot of times you have to understand your haters and your enemies and people that you that envy you or are very intimidated by you, and it's just that vibe you give off that you create enemies just like that. Your vibe just irritates the heck out of people that are not wanting to come equipped with discovering what the heck has got them to that point to where they're starting to vibe with you on that intimidating type frequency. They don't want to do that. They want what you got, and they're not knowing that they have that within themselves. But that takes for you to be honest. That takes for you to go through healing. That takes for you to go through self-acceptance, honesty, telling you all those different things. And that some folks like, I ain't touching that. I ain't lying about nothing. I'm this, I'm that. It's all you play that victim role, and you're going through those different things. So it's applying pressure through you from every level. And you're learning so much more about yourself, and it's not easy. You have your days where you can go a million steps forward, and the next, it takes that one decision, and then you go on 10 million steps back. But maybe you weren't ready to go through that next step of going to a million and point one. There were certain things that you still had to learn right there. So you will end up catapulting over the steps that you did. And a lot of times it can be, aggravating. I don't like restarting. But then it got to that point. It was like, Dad, I'm glad I did go back to there, because I just missed this little insight that I needed that created something so much bigger. And a lot of times we have to be able to see it that way, because it's like when you're in an uncomfortable situation, you want to hurry up to get to point A all the way to point XYZ. And you're going to miss all those, those life learned lessons that can really, create something within you that can be like some type of a fail safe that they'll create some kind of power bond within you and yourself and your higher self that the enemy can't penetrate. The enemy within yourself can't come back in. The ego is dying off, because it's like when you start getting to that peaceful role and you just trying to trust that process. We've been so equipped by going on autopilot with the ego for so long, that when you finally allow it to deaden off, like, look, I'm about to give you your flowers, I'm about to give you your old headstone, peace be with you. I'm even giving up my old self. And then when you start allowing yourself to feel that excitement, like there's something new that's coming into my life, there's something big about to take place. All of a sudden you're like, remember this, you remember that. Oh, you remember all this stuff. You remember last time this happened. I'm like, if you don't shut up, I say, I'm running this. I don't need you to do this, because if I keep dealing with you, I'm going to be back in the 1950s for the next 800 years. I'm not trying to deal with that. I'm trying to create something bigger for myself, that I can have a legacy that I can pass on. You got different eyes to seeing the different things that you've been through. Maybe you have children unseen, you go through the worst situations in your life. And I tell anybody, there's a lot of people I've connected with that have been through the same thing I have, gone through those, generational things where it's been toxic relationships. You've seen your parents probably drink, or you see, physical harm being placed, volatile with the words, and, being hurtful. A lot of times, I felt like with the things that I had to go through, I didn't like laying hands on my kids, but there'll be times like if you pushed me, it'll be, it wasn't often I beat my kids or anything, or not beat them, but, reprimand them, do a little pot, and just allow themselves to just go. But then it got to that point where I felt like, I'll just talk to them and I'll be stern, but I'll be powerful with that mouth. And it's just like, you don't realize those words hit as hard as, you using a belt or you popping them with your hand and stuff like that. At least with that soreness get over with, but those words, they stick. Well, even if it depends on, because some folks be beating down their kids like, I don't know what, but, that sticks with them. And I had to learn that, because it was just like, narcissism and codependency in my life, where I seen it in my surroundings and, within my adopted as well as my, my biological, it was normal, and it just, we're creating that bond where it's starting to heal through ripple effects. and I can feel it. And it's very beautiful that's going on in your life where, even when you're passing on, you can still make amends. If you got things that you're going through with your family and you feel like, they're no longer within the living. I can't, say the things that I want to say. I can't be honest with that. And that's actually not true. They're always there. And even if there's something that you feel like you need to say to get peace into your life, go ahead and do that. You can really truly do that, because this is at that line where we're breaking cycles. And even if they're not here and they're, corporeal, whatever you want to call it, and they're over there in the spiritual realm, you can still talk to them. It's like with my family, I do that all the time. It'll be apologies. There's so many different things I put my mom through because I seen her a different way, or, I was made to see her in a different way, or the poor choices I had over things that I thought she did that she actually didn't do. And it was another, family member that pushed me to think it was her when it was actually them. So, and there'll be so many different things that I started seeing later on after she passed. And it already hit me because my mom was no longer here with the living, and she always used to say, there'll be days you're going to miss I wasn't here. I'm like, no, I won't, and now it's just like, she was actually true. I miss my mom. I go through a lot of different things where I really wish she was here for that comfort. And it's like lately, I know she's been here because I've been smelling her perfume throughout my room, and I'll get really emotional. Or she'll say something when she feels like I'm sad, and she'll bring up something very goofy about different things just to make me laugh. And, I really appreciate her for that. And it's just like you're going through these different life purposes, and you're going to be able to start seeing a lot of things a lot clearer. And that's when you're stepping up to the plate for yourself. Even when you're not exactly where you want to be, you'll start noticing that change with yourself. Because a lot of times we feel like when we're in certain relationships, we got to heal that person. You can't heal anybody who's not ready to heal. You give them that seed, you drop, you allow them to take notes on see how you're doing things. Some people, they feed off and think it's funny that you go through suffering, and it's just like they're going through that suffering, but they're doing it in different ways. When you're going through it, there's gonna be bad days. There'll be days where you're just like, I'm done, I'm tired, and these things, and that's okay. And it's just like I always say, I don't care about you laughing at me. I said that, that takes a lot of strength for you to go through those different emotions, because that's not easy. That's for the strong people. The weak ones is the ones who poke fun at stuff like that. And that makes me feel sorry for them, because I know, when that mess finally hits, that's going to hit, and it's going to hit hard. That's going to be like a tsunami, whatever that mess is. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad, because there's a lot of people out here that is just like our frequencies are really clashing. You're trying to go through your moves of change, and that already sets you on 10. Like, I'm like, look, don't look at me, especially if you got a job and you got to deal with people. You already going through your mess. You probably ain't slept all night. Your stomach upset. Your solar plexus is all out of whack. Your heart chakra got you all over the place. Your mind is purging, and then you getting insight and downloads at the same time. You just all discombobulated. You're a whole hot mess. But then you're creating this within yourself. And when you finally get to that point, you're seeing your light. You had to be able to go through these hardships. You had to go through constant disappointment, setbacks, hurt, pain, whatever it did, it hit you to the point where a lot of times it's really scary to me, because there's a lot of times it doesn't end good for people that are going through that. I've been there when I just didn't want to feel nothing no more. I didn't even want to be here. I wanted to just leave. I didn't want to have an existence here anymore. But, I seen that God was like, no, I ain't ready for you yet. Get back in the ring, hit a towel, go ahead and wipe your face off. You be all right. And, you had to be able to do that. And it took a lot for me to be able to say, thank you. I'm glad you got hard up on me. It's like, girl, with all them sun signs and moon signs and all that stuff mixed with Taurus, Gemini, Capricorn, Scorpio, and Leo, you got that stubborn heart. And that's what I need in a warrior. You may get mad at me, but you're going to get right back on there because you're a sore loser. And I'm like, you know what? I like you. Even though sometimes I don't like you, I like you, because he's seen that stubbornness in me, and he likes that. Even when you give up, you be mad, and the next morning it's like, you won't say apologize. Nope. No, I'm not, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this stuff because I'm tired of him breathing down my throat. And he's like, eventually, I already know you gonna apologize. But I needed to get that stern with you. I needed you to be mad, because when you get mad and you start thinking, there's too many people that want to see you fail. There's too many people that prayed against you, did things to make sure you didn't get far. And yet God used those same things they placed on you to further you in the first place. They speed that door open for you, and they don't realize that. But that's okay. I don't appreciate the people that hurt me. because that allowed me to really see where I sat at in their life and where I sat at within my own, and appreciate that and add that fuel to add more pressure into my life that created that fat ass diamond and that shine bright like that too. So you have that diamond within yourself. Keep on knowing your power. Nobody can't dim your light. Nobody can't take it. It shines brighter than you actually allow yourself to know. And it's going to find you out of that tunnel. It's going to lead you straight out of that war. So allow yourself to keep going, and keep knowing better things are coming for you. Even no matter all the stuff that's going on around you, better days are coming. Just keep believing and keep working, But anyways, I would love to give a post notification shout out to Coco Riley, much love to you. Stephen White, much love as well. Julia Barton, Mighty Robs, and as well as Val Stover, much love to you as well. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It's so good to have you. But make sure you hit the notification button so you know when I'm about to upload my next video. Also, I will be carrying in the next probably 2 hours and some change, 2.5 hours and some change, a little bit. I'll be having Heyokas chat live and support. So we're going to do a 2-in-1. It's just random, again, to that power of alignment. So just talk about different things. You may have issues or whatever. It's an open forum. Like I said, it's very therapeutic. We have a good time. We have good laughs. And I said, I don't condone any kind of trolls. You come in there, you just get straight blocked. I'm not even going to give you attention. I'll just act like you're not there and just block you. I don't deal with that. Everybody has respect for everybody. And, you should be able to be free and talk about the different things that you may be dealing with that you're really trying to heal from, and just being able to send that love and vibes towards that way. So I hope to be able to, you'll be able to see me and I'll be able to virtually connect with you at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. And have a safe weekend. Be safe and responsible. Whatever manage you're working on, I hope and pray. And I'm placing good vibes, extraordinary vibes on you, prosperous vibes. It's going to come 10 million times better than you ever imagined. It's coming way sooner than you also predicted as well. And even through social distancing, make sure you give out love, light, positivity, words, vibes, frequencies. You just never know. All those things can really take somebody a long way. And you have a beautiful weekend. Much love to you. Peace.